Your power is not about being positive all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Your power comes from your light, be able to see through the dark, even when you don't see nothing happening.
Right. Peace, and welcome to the Art4Artists podcast, where we go through the experience of artists, one artist at a time. I'm your host, Dios Mac, and today we have a Lincoln legend. IS8, West 4th, Dykeman, Rucker Park, Terror Squad. I shouldn't talk about that. Basketball legend, kettlebell legend. I went to his kettlebell class. My ass hurt for the next week straight. Very, very good personal trainer. That's why I'm showing some more leg today. Very good personal trainer. Breathwork specialist. Now, you go to a kettlebell class, you lift a bunch of things you probably shouldn't, but he's helping you do that. And at the end of the class, he carries you through a breathwork exercise that brings you back to peace and allows you to ignore the fact that your ass will hurt for the next 7 days.
I like that.
Very good person, athlete, by far one of the hardest people to guard I've ever played in my basketball career. And honestly, on top of just being a great athlete, a great personal trainer, a great breathwork specialist, a good person, always with a smile on his face, no matter the circumstance. This is Ian Vazquez. I got some shea butter on my hands, so I won't give him a nasty, slimy pound. How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling amazing. Thank you for having me. And that intro, bro, you was not lying. You went ham on that one.
Yeah.
You went hard. I appreciate
I got to make sure every last aspect of who you are has to be highlighted, but then it's also how I see you, because you'll never know how somebody sees you until they sit there and literally say, this is how I see this person. Sometimes you just sitting there the whole time. It's like, damn, I never knew this person saw me as this or that or the third.
Shit, you just remind me of a bunch of stuff that I forgot I even did. So
you feel me? And mind you, we don't get these flowers. I feel like this is super cliche because a lot of podcasts do this, but I feel like a lot of podcasts are in that light of like, I want to give you your flowers before you die. But I feel like that's so true. You feel me? Like, we wait till funerals to tell somebody like, yo, I see you as this and that, and you were this and that in my life. You feel me? And that's how I see you. I've seen you so many different forms of yourself, but I feel like every form of yourself had a very general common theme of you, which, again, you sometimes overlook the fact that like the product of the things you do is from who you are. You know, that's a bar. I'm getting too far into my bars.
We're gonna save that one.
My bars. Okay, so let's get into the first question. So as I said, Ian is a breathwork specialist, and there's so many forms of how you can see his art, but this is what we'll focus on that also stems into all the other forms of his creation. So tell us a little bit about your background and how did you get into art?
Okay, that's a really great question. Let me see if I can oversimplify just a little bit.
Yeah.
So, first thing foremost, I know we kind of left that topic. I appreciate you saying all those good things about me because you're one of those guys that I always like look up to as far as just work ethic. So the fact that you brought that up,
yeah,
I appreciate those. I appreciate those flowers.
I appreciate
that's
that.
real. That's real shit right there.
Right.
But all right, enough of the bromance. All right, let's go to what started me from doing what I'm doing now. Movement has always been part of my life. And honestly, as an early age, it was my only way of communicating. I wasn't really too great with my words.
Right.
I wasn't great with expressing myself. I wasn't taught to express myself. So when it came to basketball and I would bring a trophy home or I would do this cool ass move, it's just like that. The fact that I was able to give you that feeling, the fact that I was just that moment itself kind of like ultimately gave me that
No,
I got stuck. I
good.
got stuck. I got
It's
stuck.
perfect. It's
That's it.
perfect. Literally, the whole thing was perfect. Just keep going. It's perfect.
My fault. Yeah, that's crazy. When somebody asks you about you, you start to stumble upon your words where it's just you,
Yeah, but
right?
you also seeing things that you probably haven't seen in a minute.
Yeah.
Like especially that feeling of expressing yourself through basketball, especially in the trophy. Like I still remember, and again, I know you remember these moments, but one of my biggest prides in hoop was like, especially playing here as a young kid, like was that moment you get a trophy and you gotta struggle with it on the train.
Mm-hmm.
That shit meant the world to me.
Mm-hmm.
I love getting the trophy, sure. I love the crowd cheers and like, oh, I dunked it none of that compared to that train ride home where I'm uncomfortable with a big ass trophy, but I'm uncomfortable in the best way because I can't help but get attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody no matter how much crowd love you got, when you get on that train ride and you got to go back home to your block and it's mad. So what you win? New Yorkers are like, we have one of the best communities in the world, bro.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I felt that. Like I felt that movement and I felt like that's what I'm saying. You did nowhere near messed up. That was exactly like it sounded perfect.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Scoring 30 points, not to shine my own shoe, but like scoring 30 points, playing in these big tournaments, seeing people smile. It was one of those things that I guess it was my form of communication. Like it's hard for me to really get into this one-on-one, like how you feeling, blah 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 blah. But through my play, it penetrated the person faster.
Wow. Wow.
And I kind of like just used that, and I just kept on from high school to college, where like movement was just my thing. Like I didn't really have to use any words, but I can convey the message. I can express myself without any restrictions. But yeah.
Damn. I love the answer. It's a phenomenal answer. I feel like it's so interesting to see that perspective of the game. You feel me? Like being able to express yourself through something that like again like this is how I'm speaking to the world, but I don't really have to speak. Like I'm letting my game speak, and like in the truest way where it's like, okay, like I want to connect to this crowd. I want to connect to people in general, but instead of having to rely on my verbal skills, I can rely on the skill of the thing that I love, the game that I love. So that was incredible. Give me from that same question, tell me a little bit more about, you know, your upbringing, how you found yourself in movement from your upbringing. So like whether it is how your household was, whether it is like what was encouraged of you, because I know personally, I got into basketball because my dad was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna let you be on the street. You know, I don't mind, devil play, all that stuff." So my first like moment with basketball was junior Knicks camp in the basketball city bubble. That rest in peace. But the basketball city bubble on the west side, and no one expected me to want to play the game as much as I did. You know, so what was that like? That background moment pre basketball and pre love of movement?
Well, I was the only person that pursued basketball in my family. So it was a journey that I had to pretty much walk on my own.
Right.
So for lack of words, I grew up in a broken home. My mom tried her best. Yeah. And you know, we grew up off of government assistance, you know, food stamps. Right. Yeah. So we weren't like completely down, but we knew that life could be better. Yeah. So yeah, I guess I used basketball at an early age to see if it could be a ticket. A ticket to a better life. But that's pretty much what kind of motivated me at an early age. Not really having too much appreciating what I do have at the moment and try to multiply that as best as I can. Wow. But yeah, I learned that from my mom a lot. Just you know, she used to have this saying. She used to have this saying that always stay like in my head all the time. It was a funny way of her making fun of me, but it was her way of kind of teaching me a lesson.
Yeah.
So I remember one time she walked inside my room and she's looking at all the sneakers that are like hanging on the shoes, right?
Mm.
And my mom is like she's like just getting on me, like, bro, like you got mad sneakers.
Yeah.
But it sounds better in Spanish, but her basically what she said was, you got all these sneakers, right? But you only can wear them one at a time.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, mom, just let me rock, right?
Yeah.
But then later in life, you start understanding what she's really trying to tell me, which is, bro, you can only enjoy that one shoe. You can't wear obviously multiple shoes at the same time. No, you can only enjoy that one thing at that one time.
Right.
So just be present with what you have, and honestly start looking at things and be like, do I really need this or do I really want this? And she has helped me kind of distinguish that from a long, early age.
Wow. I love where that, and I love the segue. It's a beautiful segue into the second question. What struggles did you find along your journey that may have made it not impossible, but made it hard for you to start making your art, or in your case, diving into movement, diving into what you started diving into later? So what struggles did you encounter that may have made it difficult?
Struggles that I have encountered. So I've been a breath coach for 5 years, and I would say this has been uh, a tough journey, a doable journey, but a tough journey because I was born and raised in Harlem. Obviously, we're always on our 10 toes, and we kind of adapted to this is the way of living.
Yeah.
This is how we're supposed to live our life.
Right.
So me talking mindfulness, it's like a whole different realm.
Yeah.
So I would say, as I consider breathwork as movement. I consider breathing the first movement there is. So it's just trying to get through people. I'm in that journey. It's going to be tough because we are told at an early age, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Right.
We're told that if pressure makes diamonds, but we're never told how to deal with the pressure. We're not told how to regulate the pressure because eventually you'll break, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I like it. Especially when you got into the pressure bag. I think that's like, first of all, that's a clip. But the pressure is like such a beautiful thing. This, like, especially in New York, right? Like somewhere where it's so much pressure just to make something of yourself, you know. And again, like, one thing, like, when I've traveled to a few places in the world, but every time I come back to New York, sometimes I forget how much pressure it is to be here.
Yeah.
And sometimes just being on the train gives me anxiety. The first few times that I come back, I get on the train and I'm like I was in LA for 5 years. I come back and I'm over there. I'm like, nigga, I can't wait to be on the train. Like, easy way to get from point A to point B without a car in the LA traffic. I'm here for it. And then I get on the train and I'm damn near heaving. Like, I'm like, like, it's uncomfortable, but it's because I'm forgetting that it's like, okay, but this is like a small tube with mad people that you don't know, right? And sometimes those close quarters, sometimes the close quarters of New York is something you can't avoid. It's just like, you walk outside, there's people outside. You walk outside, there's people everywhere, right? And sometimes I think the biggest weapon that I found was simply just breathing and just taking a second and having that, and knowing it's okay, you know. And again, I think that pressure is such an incredible thing to touch on. From that pressure, from that creative space, what is your most prized creation and why? And that could be any one of your workouts, because we know you're good at that, but in all of your paths and journeys, because again, you have basketball, you have breath work, and you have kettlebell training. Like, which one is, and again, it could be something that's not of any of those, you know, but what is your most prized creation?
Prized creation. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really have, like, I don't want to I always give myself grace, but right now I don't have anything that I'm truly proud of right now.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm still not done creating.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot left that I feel like there's a lot in me that I still haven't showed the world. Um, so I don't really have something that I have created that I'm like, yo, I really did this and I'm so proud of, because like I'm just in a new chapter in my life. Uh, Obviously you can see me you can see through the camera. I have a big ass boot. So yeah, I recently just ruptured my Achilles 3 months ago. So obviously I'm gonna be in this journey for a very long time. So I just kind of got like a whole 360 type of life just changed on me right away. So I don't really think, honestly, I don't think it's changed. It's just requiring me to pivot right now.
Right.
So if anything, what I would love to create is create a I envision honestly just a bunch of people in the train, a bunch of airbenders in the train just breathing. Like I know that's a lot to ask in New York. But I do want to create a safe space for New Yorkers to be more resilient to stress, even though we are quote unquote built for this shit.
Right.
But yet we're the most stressed city in this world.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, we're getting money, but like most of us are trying to pull our hair off our heads. And I was born and raised in New York City, born and raised in the school system, and not once what I was taught to breathe, how to breathe correctly, properly. Well, all that being said, stress is normal. You know, stress is normal. I'm not trying to make it seem like stress is bad, because that's what makes us grow. But just give us the tools. I just feel like I want to give the tools to the little Ian that didn't really have help, that wanted guidance, or just wanted a tool to make things a little bit more better.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like you answered question 4 in that answer, which was how do you paint your future? Or
I didn't mean to.
But it's beautiful because it's like now with the understanding of like the vision of your future creations is to create a bunch of airbenders on the train, right? What would you say to a creator or a breathwork specialist or a kettlebell specialist trainer? Is it?
You can say trainer.
Yeah, kettlebell trainer, breathwork specialist, basketball trainer, basketball player. What advice would you give to someone either starting out or trying to begin their journey to get them on their way?
I would say since you're in the position of always creating, you're always going to be seen as this huge light figure. So with that being said, embrace the darkness, because a lot of the things in the darkness give you a lot of answers. Honestly, the reason why I'm in this breathwork journey is because I had to face a lot of things that were bothering me at the time.
Right.
And breathwork gave me that bridge to kind of like deal with it. So like a lot, like don't like, it's cool to be all positive and shit. It's cool to be positive, but I think I posted about this yesterday, that you know your power doesn't come from your positivity. Your power comes from being able to see through the light. I mean, see through the dark. You know, fuck that one up, but you know what I mean.
One more time.
So
that's why we got it.
So I actually posted. Yo, IG is mad funny, yo.
I actually.
Yo, being an influencer is mad funny, but I would say embrace your darkness. You will get a lot of answers from the dark. Reason why is because your power is not about being positive all the time. Your power comes from your light, be able to see through the dark, even when you don't see nothing happening.
Right.
So I would say, yo, just it sounds super cliche, but keep on going within.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you get too stuck on what's trendy, what's hot right now, you're just little by little you're kind of like just selling your soul, and you're not really like you're not being authentic. Like one thing I realized when it comes to like coaching people, it's just that they can smell you from a mile away if you're not authentic. Like if you're just trying to get money, trying to take their money off of like, oh, just buy this program, blah 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 blah,
Right.
and not like really be there for that person, how long is your career gonna last? Like this is a service. This is a human being. Like you're supposed to serve. Oh, this getting lost.
Nah, that shit was ill though. I was so serve.
Like,
I was ready. That shit was fire.
You about to say some shit?
Yeah, shit. Wait, bro, I'm not gonna front. I was gonna say at the end of all that, that's a clip because it's a clip. Like, bro, that the second take was perfect.
No, I feel like the questions are like flowing together. That's why.
Yeah,
so as I feel like, I feel like I just answered that already.
It's funny because I've been noticing that the last few episodes, bro, I've been watching people answer the next question in the first, like,
Yeah.
and it's flowing so well that it's not like it means, and it's better because with a 30-minute limit, it's like, okay, well now you're answering two, and we have chances to get to the last. True. So, for the last question, before we tap them into your socials and how they can reach you and how they can take a program or a class, where do you draw your inspiration? Sheesh. Take two. Where do you draw your inspiration?
Where I draw my inspiration? I'm pretty much saying it over again, but like I draw my inspiration through my darkness, the shadows. And I'm not trying to make it seem like the shadows of the dark is a scary place to be. It is going to be a scary place to be because a lot of people avoid it.
Right.
But like once you start like realizing like this is stuff that you need to fix, because you're in the position to lead. You know what I mean? You're in a position to lead, and people are looking at you to lead them. Like you can't have any bad baggage,
right? Because
now you're answering questions through a state of like fight and flight. And you're not really thinking about that person. So I would just say, it sounds super cliche and everybody says it. Every famous person says it, and I get tight when they say that because it's like it has to be a better answer than that.
Right.
But in reality, you just gotta keep on checking within.
Yeah.
You gotta, because if it doesn't sit right with you, eventually the light is gonna show that you wasn't in it. You know what I mean? So just draw your inspiration for what you care about, and don't let like money be the reason why you think it might be the hottest thing since
right. Yeah.
Like don't put money into the equation of don't put money into the equation of when you're about to like create this new thing that comes to you, because then that becomes like a box, and then nothing grows out of that box, and then like you're not there, you're not in there, like you're not in that project.
Right. I love the idea of dealing with your baggage as a leader hit really hard, because like with my experience like hooping and like when I was in college being the captain, I feel like full disclosure for anybody that's actually went to school with me, but it was so interesting because I was going through hell in college. I couldn't stand my school. I couldn't, and it wasn't their fault. It was me. I felt like I ended up in a place that was below what I decided I wanted to be a long time ago. And from that, I had baggage every time I stepped on the court, every time I stepped in practice, every time I spoke to my coach, every time I spoke to my teammates. I was not in a peaceful space. So yes, I was able to cover and mask it and like show up and, do the captain thing. But I feel like our team could have went way further if I was able to positively deal with my baggage to then be able to positively help others deal with their baggage. Because if you're a captain of the team going through your own baggage and not doing well with it, And then somebody that's having trouble at the end of the bench is like, bro, I just want to play. How do I get into the right, good graces of him in there? And I'm gonna answer with my baggage, like literally answer that question. I was like, yeah, fuck him. Like that doesn't help anybody. That doesn't advance anybody. And I feel like I gave a lot of. I had light, and I feel like a lot of people appreciate me for who I was in that moment. I'm grateful for that, but I always think back to what I could have done better if I was in a space where I dealt with my baggage in a better way. So that's an amazing thing to touch on. Like, yeah, these conversations, like, because Art4Artists was stemmed off of me meeting a painter. Like, I go to his event, I meet a painter, but my mind went so streamlined with it, which is like, as a musician, as like what I create now, I felt like I was, oh my God, I got to just make a whole bunch of art stuff. And this is my life now, right? And one of my, like 2 guests ago, I had somebody that hooped too. And that's something that's very interesting to me, is me realizing now is like, you don't have to leave behind who you were to go to where you are. You take it all with you, right? And like, I'm so grateful to have another hooper, like a high level hooper on the podcast, because I feel like there's so much that each subject can teach it to each other, right? Like, I feel like I'm the artist I am because of the hooper I was, or the hooper I am, because I'm still a hooper. Still got balance. Yeah, still. But the funny thing is, like, that idea of it like, I don't want to say each one teach one, but that's literally it. Like, my art is a product of my hoop. Like, because I know that I was only really good and scoring 30 or whatever I wanted when I was playing every day, when I was shooting every day, when I was working on handle every day. And that same idea applies to, like, if I want my music to sound good, I got to work on it every day. If I want to paint well, I got to paint every day. If I want to draw, every one of them, bro. So I'm great. I say all that to say, like, I'm really grateful to have you on the show, to have a platform to highlight you, but also to bridge that gap. Yeah. Because art is in so many forms, and I think sometimes we lose sight of that just because it has a different name, So the last thing that I want to get into is, I would love for you to walk us through short, because the end of our workout, you put us through a nice little long one, a very short breathing exercise that can take us out. And after you finish the breath exercise, we can just plug them into everywhere they can find you on social. So walk us through, my friend. I am ready.
All right, cool. So breathing is beautiful. All right, so let's do one of my favorite. So when it comes to breathing exercises, even though this is an oversimplification, there's 3 categories. There's a coffee category exercise, there's water category exercise, and there's a whiskey category exercise. Coffee category exercises are exercises that can create this coffee effect and wake you up and give you a nice alertness. Water exercises is you can drink water any time of the day.
Right.
So since it's the afternoon and we still got a couple things to do left, we'll do a water category exercise. So let's do a water category exercise. This exercise beautifully designed to pretty much balance out your nervous system. And that's what kind of breath work is. It's just balancing your nervous system. So this exercise is not going to pick you too high. It's not going to put you too down. It's just going to put you in that middle ground.
Right.
And I actually posted about this. The boring middle is where the magic happens. So like, that's what the beauty of this exercise. So in order to begin, if you're sitting on a chair, you can sit at the edge of the chair. You can have your feet about hip width apart, right? Feet directly underneath your knees. If you're laying down on the ground, you can lay down on the ground. You can place your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your lower abdomen. As you breathe, your belly's gonna expand and go inwards. If you're sitting on a chair, your belly button is going to expand and go in towards your spine. So whatever position you want to pick, you can just pick it. Just be comfortable. So right hand on your heart, left hand on your lower abdomen. Let's do 3 quick breaths. So I want you to keep your right hand remain still the entire time. This is to ensure that we're not using our chest, our neck, and our shoulders to breathe. Our left hand is going to be on top of our belly button. It's just to ensure that we're taking nice 360 breaths. Slow, light, and deep breaths. Eyes closed, shoulders relax, faces relax. Let's do a 4 count on the inhale, 4 count on the exhale. And let's begin in 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep that right hand remain still. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Final round. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Faces relax, shoulders relax, breath is normal. Release your hands to your sides. So that was just a quick breathing exercise. Ideally, you want to do that for like 10 to 15 rounds. And you'll breathe in at a balanced rate, and then that will balance out your nervous system. How you breathe is how you feel, and how you feel is how you breathe. So put that in account every time you do a breathing exercise and what exercise you're going to do.
Sheesh. Namaste. So plug them in to where they can find you on socials.
So currently I'm in IV. I mean,
plug them in to where they can find you on socials.
Yes. So you can follow me in IV Fit and IG. I don't really use Facebook like that. IG is my main source right now. Definitely gonna start posting a whole breathing library in YouTube, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, be prepared to get sick of me because I'm gonna show up a lot.
Yeah. And that is Art4Artists, and we're out. Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.